Alrighty, so welcome to MacBean Scottish Fitness, Farms and Prepping, and all the other fun channels. Not going to try to live stream this because this signal is not behaving. So what I'll do is upload this at work, and then I think what I'll do is I'll set it as members only, and then I will redo it as a premiere the next day, so that it'll work out a little bit better, hopefully. Hopefully. We never know about these things. So first of all, a shout out to my sponsor. Once I find out where they put his knives. Okay, Mama. Well, anyway, I guess I'll use one of the steak knives. So Cutco Knives is one of my major sponsors. Here we go. And I did post a picture of all the knives I have. If you go to the description, lucky day at cutco.com, I'd appreciate it. I really like the blades. So, stop at Hy-Vee. Got me some more fresh bacon. I do prefer the butcher cuts over buying something like an Oscar Mayer or Prairie Farms or Black Label, or not that they're bad. I feel these are better. And I still got some of the Jacksonville sausages to cook. I know Mama likes those. So the bacon is going to provide most of the grease that I'm going to use to cook. Hopefully I'm talking loud enough. I was going to use my Bluetooth, but I'll let the battery go dead. So there's that. So I'll put the bacon away real quick. Put the sausage away. And today's subject's going to be a little different. Just some of the things I've seen out there. Hopefully I won't get in trouble doing this one. But I started thinking about, if I wanted to rule the world, how would I go about it? Alright? This is all opinion. I'm not doing politics. But if I wanted to rule the world, how would I do it? Now, it used to be done through conquest, through armies. You know, where Attila the Hun and Alexander the Great, you know, Charlemagne, the Roman legions, everything was you know, military might basically made you right. And that's how it was done back then. Now, to move military and all that stuff was a feat in itself. If you figure what it took to feed an army back then versus now. You know, to have the resources to be able to go forth and attack the neighboring village and the next village and the next village and keep feeding those men, because, you know, the army marches on its stomach. If there's no food, there's no more army. So I started thinking about that. So in today's world, how would I take it over? Because with the weapons we have now, it's hard to sit there and see that army just keeps taking over places. So how would you do it? Well, I've used the playbook that's been successful in some of these other countries. And I would do it over time. So first of all, I'll have to be very wealthy, or have a very wealthy backup. All right. The old adage of he who has the gold makes the rule. And we can see that today. As much as we may want to say it's a really super free society and all that stuff, we are seeing things change. So if I want to take over and I want to change things, what do I have to do? Well, first of all, I have to destroy the family unit. Right? You gotta make it where the family unit is not considered the get-all anymore. So how do I do that? Well, I encourage single families, single mother, single father families. You know, I will set up a welfare system to allow that to happen because, you know, for a long time, the reason that there wasn't that single family going on is because it just wasn't feasible. I mean, you know, mom took care of the children and dad went out in the field and scraped together a living. And that's how it worked out. Well, now with technology and that has changed. So the first thing I'd want to do is I want to dissolve the family unit. Not just in that way, but I also want to make the family unit not as important and make the government more important. So what are we seeing here? We're seeing educators that truly believe they have more rights on your children's education than you do as a parent. And that is wrong. Latest what I've seen is this individual, she's doing all this and saying, well, I've seen some dumb parents out there, and believe me, you know, you don't want them to be in charge of their children. Well, believe me, yes you do. And young lady, you're not as smart as you think you are. Alright? There is IQ, there is intelligence, and then there's just common sense. Do not confuse the three with the others. Because they're not the same. So I would destroy the family unit. I would destroy the religion unit. Unless I was going to use religion as a sole binder. So in the Middle East, religion is one of the sole binders. And it has been used in the past. You know, we've had the Crusades and things like that where everything was under a banner of religion or under a banner of a country. But if I want total dominance, I want world dominance, I have to take that away too. So patriotism comes under attack. Religion and faith come under attack. Alright? And then I have to keep everybody divided. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to control the media because I have money, or I have backing of people who have lots of money. And I'm going to shoot a narrative out there 24/7 of division. Regardless of what actually is reflected in the real world, I'm going to take that 1 or 2% of the deviant and hateful society and I'm going to throw it out there constantly. Never stop. To a point, well, you have to start believing it. Because that's all you see. You don't see anything else but that. I'm also going to confuse the younger generation. I read a book written by Roger Zanley called Chronicles of Amber. And at one point, the character, and these characters are very powerful characters, influential characters, let's call them the rich and powerful, and they travel to places where they get people to fight for them. And they say, it doesn't matter that a generation ago we came and took the cream of their crop in their mind, that they're going to follow us. Because they have the mentality of a senior in high school or a freshman in college. It says, don't take it wrong, but that mentality is too easily screwed over by people like them. So what do you mean by that? Well, you go to college, you graduate high school, you pretty much figure your teachers know everything. They don't. They know a lot about their subject. And you go to a class where they start telling you that this doctrine is actually a good idea. And, you know, all those things that you've learned about being, you know, rules of gender and stuff like that are not really based on science. Yes, they are. And if you challenge them, well, you're probably going to fail the course. But the problem is, to the message to you, younger generation, you need to challenge everything. 2 to 3 levels at least. Because remember, a lie starts with a true statement. So as I said before, the best lies start out with the truth. And then we draw different conclusions. So a field might seen out there in the fitness one is you don't need protein because the liver produces all the protein your body needs. And if you type in, does the liver produce the protein your body needs, you will find out that is true. Yes, the liver does that. Oh, I don't need to eat protein. Okay, let's take it to the next level. How does it produce the proteins? It combines amino acids that you ingest. What is your source of amino acids? Protein, eggs, chicken, fish, beef, meat, beans. You know, and some have better sources. Eggs are the best source of protein out there, period. Eggs. All 20 aminos in there. So, you have vegan diets, you have vegetarians, you have things like that. But the one thing about protein that a lot of people do not know is that your brain needs 90 grams of this protein per day to stay healthy. And when you have people that are trying to get you to join their cult, the first thing they used to do is get you on a vegetation diet. Because when you're deficient in protein, you are open to suggestion. You have less of an ability to sit there and spot the falsehoods. So of course, also the egg is bad. The egg was never bad. Best source of food you can get out there. Alright? That's why I eat a lot of it. I'm in great shape and I can think. So if I want to rule the world, how do I do it? First of all, attack religion, attack the family unit, attack the authority of the parents. The same thing a cult does. Alright, when they used to grab these kids in college. College is the melting point to go and recruit. Unfortunately, and I was a college person. Luckily for me, I was in the service for 6 years before I went there. But I would see some of the stuff they would try to push onto us, which didn't work with me because I've already had 6 years of real life experience overseas. So I'd see some of these people that just were used and abused by the professors. Because they would not question it. They would not put it to that flow chart. That flow chart is bullshit. So they will believe them. So I see the things that go on with the college campuses, and why am I narrowing on the college campuses? Because these are the people that get loud as they get older. Alright? Some will grow out of it and realize, yeah, it's not what they said it was. But some will never challenge it. So I'm going to divide the family, I'm going to divide religion, I'm going to divide you by race, ethnic groups, and beliefs. I'm going to keep everybody divided, everybody angry. All right, and I'm going to tell you, here's a solution. All right, it's not you, it's them. Well, it's not you, it's not them. It's me, the individual, trying to sit there and feed you that. So you need to sit there and research these comments 3-4 levels deep. All right? And I don't care if you're a Democrat, I don't care if you're an independent, I don't care if you're a Republican, I don't care if you're a Libertarian, Green Party, whatever. When you see something on the internet, you have to suspect it immediately. I'll tell you right now, 80% of the stuff that's on the internet is misleading at the least. And most of the time they're just trying to get clicks. Alright? I can title this video a few ways. I can say it's a discussion breakfast chat, this guy's fitness. Or I can say, oh my God, they're going to take this over. You better act now. Alright? Which title do you think I'll draw more people with? I don't like to do those titles. It is a discussion. This is my opinion. But what I'm seeing out there follows this. Alright? The family unit has been attacked. The religion unit has been attacked. The rights of the parents have been attacked. The gender identity of the children has been confused. Why are they doing that? Confused people follow whatever. Especially when you're going through puberty. You have so many hormones into your system. It's a confusing time for both men and women. The boys and girls, when they're at that puberty, somewhere between 11 and 16 or whatever it is, there is a lot of confusion. And if I want to sit there and screw up with somebody's self-identity, that's the prime time to do it. And that's why they're doing it. Problem is, when you become an adult, and all those chemical balances finally equal out, you're going to wonder, what the hell did I just do? Alright? I've said it many times. If you are a woman and you vote Democrat, prepare to be erased. Alright, because they're going to erase you. They're doing it already. Starts with the sports, starts with the contest. Woman of the Year was a man. Alright? Yeah, the winner of the track meet was a man. The winner of the swim meet was a man. I don't care what they identify are, they're a man. And if you allow this to happen, alright, women's sports is going to be totally taken over by men. Which is ironic. That's what you were fighting against. And now you've had these professors trying to confuse you. And who's telling you it's okay? Men? Or women who never would do sports ever. Or a few of them that do sports and, I don't know, they're just confused. Confusing the, who you want to sit there and spend your time with by what is right in the world. Alright? The two are not related. Definitely not related. So, they're dividing us by ethnic group. They're telling you to hate somebody based on their race, color of their skin, background. They're telling you that there is no such thing as a boy and a girl and a man and a woman. They're telling you parents should not have control over your education. They're telling you to do things at a very young age. They're telling you not to tell your parents. Boys and girls, if you ever hear that, you better tell your parents. Alright? They're telling you that religion is false, but they want to say that their religion, which is socialism, which has never worked. Socialism has killed hundreds of millions of people every time. Alright? Oh, Denmark is not socialist. Alright? Stop it. Absolute power corrupts. Absolutely. That is always going to be a true statement. Always going to be a true statement. Oh, the other thing, if I wanted to take over a country, I would have to disarm them. How to disarm them? Could not allow them to have weapons that may give my soldiers a problem. So first of all, the Alpha Kilos and the Alpha Romeos are not weapons of war. No army uses them. They look similar, but they are dumbed down versions of them. Alright, so number one. Number two, once they take those from you, your freedoms are gone. I don't care if you live out in the country. I don't care if you live in the ghettos of Chicago. I don't care where you live. You allow them to take that from you, then you live in a police state. And remember, you're not supposed to trust them. Once again, we're having a hard time remembering what we said on the one hand and on the other. So yeah, you gotta take those pesky guns from you, because once you wake up And understand that we've been just feeding you a line of garbage, you'll have no recourse. Because we told you it was dangerous out there, because we made it dangerous out there. We let criminals right back out. Right? We let them go out in the street and continue doing acts of violence. We make you feel unsafe. We allow people to do bad things. We're aware of them. We've seen it on our social media. We didn't do anything about it. We let nature take its course. It doesn't have to be an alphabet operation. It just have to be, well, we see what that person's like, and we'll just wait and see what happens, instead of dealing with it immediately. So I would make you fearful. And in a society that had the right to have weapons, I would make sure I'd change that. And I'd be patient, a little bit at a time. I'm in no hurry. I'm a very patient person. First I'd convince you this one was dangerous, and I'd take it from you. Yeah. And I say, well, this one, it's bad too. Just forgot to tell you that. This one's bad too. We're going to take that one from you too. And eventually I've got you back down to the flintlock, which the Second Amendment was never about that. And it was never about hunting. Mexico. It was about to keep me taking over you. That's what it was about. But I'm going to convince you that you don't need it, and that will the government take care of you. Although we as the government are allowing this violence to happen. And then if you do as an individual do something about it, we're going to come after you. And that's happening too. So this is opinion, but it's also facts. Alright? You decide who the villain is. But that villain's out there. And whose fault is it? Your fault. It's my fault. We voted for them. We allowed them to get into office. We allowed them to make promises they never fulfilled. We allowed ourselves to become brainwashed by the media. Instead of doing our own research, instead of questioning some obvious things, you need to question it. And when you vote, you need to vote with your brain, not your party. I rarely vote straight ticket. Rarely. Alright. I look at an individual, see what their records are, and see what they're up to do. You know, I got too many people I knew saying, well, Trump was mean. Okay, but you voted for an idiot. My opinion. Alright? You know, sometimes we don't like the choices, but we got to start to look at it. Freedom of speech is under attack. The right to bear arms is under attack. Once they take the right to bear arms, your freedom of speech is gone. It is gone. And once that is, your freedoms are gone. So when you're on Twitter going, oh, we got to get rid of this because it's evil. No, it's a tool. All right, the person behind it is the evil person. Get yourself educated. Because one thing they're not telling you about is hundreds of thousands of times a year, that prevents a crime from happening. Lots of times, never even had to be fired. Just all of a sudden people go, oh, they're armed. We're not going to pick on them. But they don't want you to know that, because then you wouldn't be dependent on them. They don't want you independent. Alright? The news media is the worst. A couple of years ago, they were, ha ha ha, GOP is making, they're going after our gas stoves. They're not coming after your gas stoves. They're not. Everybody's saying the same thing. Guess what? All new construction in New York cannot have a gas stove. Alright? You're still watching that media? You're still watching that same channel? After they blatantly lied to you? I'm sorry. That's your fault. That's the old fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Folks, they're not even fooling you twice. They fooled you hundreds of times and you're still believing them. You gotta wake up. The clock is ticking. Okay, it's not to scare you, this is to wake you up. I have people I know that just want to keep their head in the sand because it's less stressful. Well, you got to change that. How you change it? You take care of it at home first. Starts with home. All right, try to keep a family unit. Try to keep a faith-based unit, whatever your faith may be. All right, if you have children, you better know what the school is teaching them. You need to ask them on a daily basis, what did they cover in school today? When the child gets quiet or starts going, nah, not really anything, now you got to find out, okay, let's sit down. Let's talk about it. Because I've seen it change in the education. My wife's in education. And she's seen it change. All right, everybody gets a trophy. Sorry, life doesn't work that way. Everybody doesn't get a trophy. You gotta work hard for it. If you can't get a trophy in baseball, then maybe soccer is your sport. If you can't get it in soccer, maybe writing is your talent. If it ain't writing, maybe it's, reading or counseling or just doing something that you enjoy doing. We all can't be great at everything, but we can be really good at something. Understand, failure should be your best motivation to try harder. When people say, oh, well, I just give up. Okay, well, you're never going to be successful if you just gave up. You just told yourself, I've given up. And you will listen to yourself all the time. So that's my rant. Hopefully I won't get in too much trouble with it. I'll put it up as a members only, and then I will do it as a premiere, hopefully during a time where I'll get some more things. It'll be a live chat. So here's breakfast. Here's how nutrition builds muscles. Bacon, sausage, green peppers, onions, and eggs. And yes, I've still forgot to get the A1 steak sauce. I need to get that next time. So, sorry for the rant, but it's needed. We need to wake up. We need to understand why things are happening. Things are happening because this is how they restrict your rights of freedom. All right. First Amendment is important. Second Amendment allows the First Amendment. Everybody have a wonderful day.